Greetings to you in the name of the risen Christ from your siblings, your family at St. Paul's Episcopal Cathedral in Oklahoma City. I bring to you words wrapped in love and carried in memory, words entrusted to me by a long line of cathedral parishioners who met me in the narthex after last Sunday's service. They wanted me to give you this message. It won't always hurt like this. There is healing. You will find healing. It gets better. Give it time. It gets better. I have the joy and privilege of serving as the Dean of St. Paul's, a place whose story, like yours, is forever marked by tragedy. But at St. Paul's, we are also marked by the long, holy road of healing. It has been 30 years since the bombing of the Alfred P. Murrow Federal Building, which shattered not only the structure of our city, but also the lives of so many within and beyond our congregation. Your stories and ours, they're not the same. But we are, both of us, part of a terrible and tender fellowship. Churches that have been wounded by tragedy. I come not to draw parallels, only to offer the perspective of time. Not to rush you, not to explain away your pain, but to say that where you are now, you will not always be. On April 19th, 1995, just after 9 o'clock in the morning, the blast from the bombing lifted the entire structure of the cathedral's roof up and slammed it back down. The North Garden, right beyond our high altar, it became our table. It's where we fed hundreds of first responders, EMTs, firefighters, paramedics. Y'all, you even sent people from Texas to us. And as they dug through wreckage, searching for life, we at the cathedral ran. Not away from the pain, not away from the chaos, but into it. We ran into smoke and screams with arms and hearts open to one another. We brought food. We made coffee. And we wept. And we did all of this while members of our own community, our friends and neighbors, were being treated in nearby hospitals for life-threatening injuries. Above the big red doors of our cathedral once stood a large Celtic cross carved out of stone. The force of the blast split it into fragments, and those fragments were lovingly gathered, not discarded, but held. Today, you can see those fragments embedded into the stone above our memorial gates. Those gates hold 168 iron circles, one for each life lost in the bombing. They stand both as a witness to grief, but also as a gateway to healing. A portion of that cross remains in the Memorial Museum, a silent reminder of what extremism can destroy and what love must remember. The new cross up above our cathedral doors is a resurrection, not because the old was forgotten, but because it was honored. The National Cathedral loaned us their stonemason. And again, the cross of Christ welcomes all those who seek love. Another little point of connection for Good Shepherd here and St. Paul's in Oklahoma City. It's this window right up above our high altar, right to the right of it. And it's a window of Jesus, the Good Shepherd. And he's got these two little lambs with him. But they're not white lambs. Nestled in the crook of his arm, held tight against his bosom, a black lamb. For years, people at the cathedral thought that the glass was just dirty. You know, dust. It's dusty in Oklahoma. Dust, pollution, grime. After the bombing, all of the windows were cleaned, made clear of their debris. And that's when we realized it wasn't dirt. It was design. It had always been that little dark sheep. Jesus, holding the one often left out. Jesus, holding the one often overlooked. Jesus, pressing into his heart of love, one assumed to be unlovable. That window has become a kind of theology for us, a way of seeing, a way of believing, and a way of surviving. It is a constant reminder to us that Christ doesn't wait for us to be whole before holding us. He just picks us up. So I say this to you now, Church of the Good Shepherd, not from a distance, but from the depth of a church who has walked the long road of grief and grace. You will not always be where you are now. But let me be clear. I do not say that to move you along too quickly, and I certainly do not say that to ease the weight of what you are holding. This summer's floods may not have struck your sanctuary as the bomb struck our cathedral, but the heart of your community, we hold that in common. Heart of our communities have been struck. And we are less whole than we used to be. Beloveds, this is holy ground. Not because it is beautiful and not because it is peaceful. This grief, it opens us up, and we find within ourselves a place that nothing else could have reached. Because tragedy names with terrible clarity who and what we love. This holy ground of grief, it changes us, and not always for the worse. If we let it, this kind of grief carves out a deeper capacity for compassion, for empathy. It softens what had become hard, and it opens that which had long been shut. It teaches us to hold on to what matters and to let go of what doesn't. But beloveds, as I have been asked to remind you, grief is not the end of your story. It is simply a part of your story. There will come a day, perhaps months or years from now, when you'll be sitting in this place and you're going to hear a hymn, and for the first time you sang it, not just with your lips, but with your heart. There will come a Sunday when you will hear the children laugh, and it will sound like life. And there will come a moment, as we did this past April, when you gather not only to remember what was lost, but to bless what has slowly and bravely grown in its place. On that day, whenever it comes for you, remember this: where Christ is, nothing is wasted. You are walking a hard road, Good Shepherd. You are carrying stories that can't be fixed by platitudes or hurried along with promises. But you are not walking it without direction. You are not walking it alone. With God's help, you place one foot in front of the next. That phrase, with God's help, it isn't just a liturgical response. It is the heartbeat of this life. It's what we say at baptism and what we promise in marriage. It's what we whisper in hospital rooms. And it's what we shout in the face of injustice. It's what we live when we don't know how to live. With God's help. With God's help, you will make it through this season. With God's help, you will remember those who were lost, not only with sorrow, but with strength. With God's help, your laughter, your joy will return. Your songs will deepen, and your ministry will stretch you beyond what you can now imagine. And when you doubt, because we all do, when you wonder if healing will ever come, look around. See the faces beside you. See the prayers rising from these very pews. See the bread broken and the cup shared, and know without a shadow of a doubt, you are not alone. Not now, not ever. You are held. You are loved. You are walking forward, all with God's help. And that, my friends, is something else that we have in common. With God's help, our stories, our tender, painful stories of our communities, are utterly transformed, not to ignore or to cover up the pain, but to see it as real, to hold it as truth, and then say, with God's help, we take our next step. Amen.